Hi, in this lecture, we'll be discussing about the various functions of management. So, there are basically 5 different functions of management, which include planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. In some of the references, the functions like staffing and directing, they can be considered as one, as directing. So the total functions in some of the references probably it will be 4, but in a general point of view, you will have totally 5 different functions of management. Now let us talk about the first function of the management, which is nothing but planning. So what is meant by planning? So it is a basic functions of a management. It is a basic function of the management which normally deals with chalking out a future course of action and deciding in advance the most appropriate course of actions for achievement of predetermined goals. According to Kuhns, planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, and how to do. So there are 3 questions that is to be addressed in planning. Number 1 is what to do, number 2 when to do, and third one is how to do. It bridges the gap from where we are and where we want to be. So a plan is a future course of actions. It's an exercise in problem solving and decision making. Planning is determination of course of action to achieve the desired goals. Thus, planning is a systematic thinking about ways and means of accomplishment of predetermined goals of an organization. Planning is necessary to ensure the proper utilization of human and non-human resources. It's an intellectual activity and it also helps in avoiding confusions, uncertainties, risk and wastages. The next function of management is organizing. It's a process of bringing together physical, financial, and human resources and developing productive relationship amongst them for achievement of the organization's goals. And according to Henry Fayol, to organize a business is to provide it with everything useful or its functioning. That is, the raw materials, the tools, the capital, the human resources is also called the personals. To organize a business involved determining and providing human as well as the non-human resources to the organizational structure. Therefore, the organization include identification of activities. What are the things that is to be done? And then classification of grouping of activities. Instead of having several activities, we can group them into different small groups. Then assignment of duties. Then delegation of authority and creating the responsibility. So we can delegate the authority and also we can make them responsible for own activities. And it also include coordinating authority and responsibility relationship. The third job is staffing. It's a function of manning, in other words, recruiting the organization structure and keeping it manned. Staffing has assumed greater importance in the recent years due to the advancement of technology increase in size of the business, complexity of human behavior, etc. It is one of the most difficult tasks in a management, which is the staffing or assigning people for different activities. The main purpose of staffing is to put right man on right job. According to Coates and O'Donnell, managerial function of staffing involves manning the organization's structure through proper and effective selection, appraisal and development of personnel or the staff to fill the roles designed in the structure. So therefore, staffing include manpower planning, estimating manpower in terms of searching, choose a person and giving them the right place, right person for the right job. Recruitment and selection as well as the placement. We have to recruit the people, then we have to select the appropriate people, then also we have to place them in the appropriate places or the appropriate positions. We have also need to provide the training as well as development for the staff. Remuneration or the salaries and other benefits, it's also part of the staffing. Then periodically we have to assess or evaluate the performance, and according to performance we should give them the performance appraisal. Definitely there must be promotions as well as the transfer, which is also kind of motivating the personnel. Fourth function is the directing. So now we have done three functions: planning, we have seen well in advance. Then number two, which is organizing, different activities are organized. And number three, the staffing, the recruitment is done. We have hired the people and we have assigned the different people for different activities or different jobs. The next job is directing. It's a part of managerial function which actuates the organizational method to work efficiently for the achievement of organizational purposes. It's considered as a pulse of the enterprise which sets in motion of action of people, because the planning, organizing and staffing are the mere preparations for doing the right work. So the three steps that you have discussed before, planning, organizing and staffing, is nothing but mere or the just preparations. But the actual job is the direction. And the direction has the following elements. Number one is supervision. Number two is the motivation. Number three is the leadership. Number four, communication. Supervision means overseeing the work of subordinates by their superiors or the supervisors. It's the act of watching, directing work and workers. And another part of the direction is the motivation, means inspiring, stimulating or encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. Positive, negative, monetary, non-monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. Leadership may be defined as a process by which manager guides and influences the work of subordinates in desired direction. And the last point is the communications. It is a process of passing information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another. It's a bridge of understanding each other. And the last step is controlling. It implies the measurement of accomplishment against the standards and correction of deviation, if any, to ensure the achievement of organization's goals. The purpose of controlling is to ensure that everything occurs in conformities with these standards. An efficient system of control helps to predict deviation before they actually occur. According to Theo Hyman, controlling is the process of checking whether or not the proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals and acting if necessary to correct any deviation. So, and according to Kuhns or O'Donnell, controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives and plans desired to obtain them as being accomplished. So the controlling functions, main functions of the controlling part or the controlling is include establishment of standard performance, measurement of the actual performance, comparison of actual performance with the standards and finding out deviations if there is any, and when there is a deviation, appropriate corrective action that is to be taken. So in short, we can say that there are 5 main functions of any management organizations, which includes planning, which means seeing in advance, and next one is the organizing, which is dividing the jobs into different modules or the sections. Then staffing, which is mainly concerned with hiring people. Direct means giving proper instructions and advice, motivating them. Then the last step is the controlling, making sure that everything is working as per the norms or the standards. And if there is any deviation from the standards, there must be a corrective action that is to be taken. So in this way, any organization, so it's like a